Thank you very much. I have such a problem. My daughter and son-in-law want to move to Moscow.
Well, they're not here. Don't ask me such a question when neither you nor I have any influence on this situation.
They will do what they need to do. But how can I let them go peacefully and ensure they will be fine there?
Well, first of all, why do you think they will be fine there?
I wish this for them.
It doesn't matter what you wish.
I don't want this, but they do.
That's understandable, because you feel that they won't be happy there, and I feel the same way.
Well, what choice do I have?
I don't know what choice you have, but this means that a person doesn't know how to overcome one's fate. That means that you don't know how to overcome your fate. Have you been listening to my lectures for a long time?
Well, I've heard some of them.
You need to listen carefully, because in every lecture I explain what to do and how to pray to overcome one's fate. If a person doesn't pray when fate weighs them down, then their thyroid, pancreas, or something else starts to fail, because if you don't overcome your fate, it means it weighs you down. For example, a person says, "Dr. Torsunov, how can I make it not hurt?" while keeping their hand on a hot stove. I say, "You can't do anything, your hand is on the stove." Similarly, your hand is on the stove right now. Your children are going to Moscow, and for some people it might be better in Moscow, but for them, it will definitely be worse there. I can see this too, just like you, and since you feel their fate, it's hard for you. Their fate is also your fate, and now you just need to overcome it. And since you don't know how to overcome it, your health is failing because of this. You simply have to learn how to pray and understand what it is. What sound is? How to pray together with someone who knows how, with a holy person, how to listen to their sound, study it seriously, how to overcome fate through prayer, and make them understand everything and not go. What I just said may not help you because you might start throwing tantrums in front of them now and can completely destroy your relationship with them because you have no influence over the situation. They have already made their decision and you can't do anything about it. Therefore, you need to learn how to live right. It's impossible to accept. When it hurts, for example, it's impossible to accept. You need to fight, you need to overcome fate so that their decision changes or so that they leave, then understand and come back, or either make things go well for them there. That means to pray so that their fate improves in that place, which is even harder. So there are different options, but there's no option to accept this. For example, your child is standing on stage and crying, and you say, "Now I'll accept it." How can you accept this? It will still hurt you. Do you agree? There are things that are obvious and things that are hidden. That means for you it's hidden, that they will be unhappy there. But for me it's obvious because I can see these things. But even if it's hidden from you, your heart still feels it, because a person feels fate. Every person feels fate, and that's why prayer overcomes one's fate. And in this case, victory over fate means that they themselves begin to feel and realize that they shouldn't go there, exactly there. It's very difficult for them here too. They're just going through a difficult period now. Maybe they need to go somewhere else. I don't know, all this needs to be studied. If you want them not to go anywhere, that's also wrong. You need to understand that sometimes people can't survive here, they need to go somewhere. This can also happen. Now, next question.
Good evening. Dr. Torsunov, if we could return to your yesterday's lecture about how every person should overcome their fate, that we need to work towards this. But each of us actually lives in society. And there are rules of the game in society. And my question is there such a thing as the collective fate of a nation? And can each of us influence this fate to change for the better?
Of course, yes. And this influence is not what you think. It doesn't mean shouting and rebelling. I'm going to tell you about this now. I have a friend. He has already passed away from this world. His name is Dr. Vetrov. And at one time he conducted such an experiment in Riga where 2,000 people started repeating together, "I wish happiness to everyone." They did this for an hour, and during this time the number of accidents and crashes throughout the city was recorded. The city's bad fate decreased many times during this hour. Statistically, nothing bad happened in the city at all during that time. That means they changed fate during this time while they were praying. According to statistics, actually not just that hour, but the whole day was much better than other days. Every day something happens, but on that day, nothing happened at all. How can I explain this to you? There were 2,000 people sitting there. That means all people are very strongly connected to each other. We are like one whole organism. If one person starts changing their life, they influence the whole society. The impact is enormous. At least look how it works here. You influence those parts of the whole that are specifically connected to you. And let's say you're really working on yourself, then your life within this system becomes completely different. All your connections with others improve, and you start to live completely differently. That means you are the one who begins to live a better life, and everyone who is connected to you too, while all others might continue living roughly the same way. That means your fate and everything connected to it changes because of this. And in this way, can we influence our government to treat its people better? Look, you are a leader by nature. You are the type of person who wants to influence the situation in the country very much. You have such a mindset, you have a strong character. It's visible that you've had some connection with this in life, specifically with politics and so on. And it's your duty to do this, to influence. You see how people often think, take the situation in Ukraine, for example, now. People think that the best way is to just remove the government and that's it. And then what happens? In Russia, they made a revolution in 1905. After that, there were 50 years of war. And why did these wars happen? Because the formation of power happens very slowly, that's all. And all this time, blood is being shed here. Blood is being shed, you understand? That means that when the government is overthrown, a country becomes weakened and other countries begin to invade it, trying to tear it apart and so on. Therefore, in other words, the first and main duty of a person is to support their government. Even if it's wrong, you shouldn't change the government, because it's a terrible thing. Even in America, for example, elections happen naturally, and they miscalculated a bit. You understand that there isn't any pure voting there. There are certain mechanisms. They use them. Well, they slightly miscalculated what they did, and as a result, the whole nation, the whole country was turned upside down. Lots of people just left the country and so on. This is the result of a change of power. It's a terrible thing, in general. Even a small change, even when there are slight changes in government, the country already has big problems. Therefore, we need to try to preserve the government. The person who governs the country is always connected with God, because the power of authority doesn't have a human nature. This power has a divine nature. Just like the energy of love coming from a woman. A woman can be beautiful if God wants, and if God doesn't want, she cannot be beautiful. You know, it's the divine energy of beauty. Similarly, the energy of power is divine energy. If God wants to endow someone with power, they will have power. And why this particular person? Because they match the fate of the country. That means that they satisfy the needs of this country. There's one joke, maybe there's some truth in it. A plane is falling and one person prays, "Lord, save us, save us." And the Lord comes to their heart and says, "Listen, why are you praying? Did I spend 3 years gathering you all together for nothing? And you are praying now, ruining all my plans."
Because they deserved it.
Of course, 100% sure. And similarly, you can deserve something else too. It's not that people only deserve this fate. You can deserve something else. According to the Vedas, if less than 1% of people change their lives, the whole country changes completely. Less than 1%, very few. Because the power of the human psyche is enormous. When one person changes, a lot of positive changes occur from this. Therefore, just start with yourself. As Leo Tolstoy said, start changing yourself. And always pray that God gives wisdom to country leaders, that they gain knowledge and understand how to correctly govern the country. And even if a leader gains knowledge, still, given the situation they're surrounded by, in which they live, they need years. If they take all the right steps, it takes years to get the country back on its feet. They need years. Because you can't do it immediately. People have developed a certain mentality. There are many officials around who no longer want to govern properly. They have no control. They are uncontrolled people. They all need to be changed gradually. If you change everyone at once, there will be a revolution. They might even kill you for it. You see, it takes years to take more and more power into your hands to govern. Then you need to remove all those who are unnecessary, who prevent people from living normally. It requires so much work to change the government, just a tremendous amount of work. And it's easiest to say, you're governing wrongly. But it's very difficult, especially when a country is already broken down from a management perspective. Even those who, let's say, have their own company. Raise your hand who manages, well, a small firm or company. Tell me, isn't it difficult to restore a company if it's not working properly? It's incredibly difficult even if there are 15 people working there. Imagine. And to restore the whole country? And the country was really destroyed, you understand? It started rebuilding from scratch. And that's why this situation exists. The process goes very slowly. There's not enough strength. It's not easy to restore everything. Moreover, there are different influences. It's located on the border between two forces. And countries that are on the border between two forces are always pulled back and forth like a blanket, first in one direction, then in another. and this also leaves its mark.
Thank you very much.
My dears, I want to tell you something. Your life depends only on you. If you start changing your life, start working on yourself. If you are meant to be happy in this country, you will be happy in this country. If you are meant to be happy in another country, God will give you a place to live in another country. But if you think that someone else is to blame for your bad life, this is degradation. Please, my dears, try to understand the truth. The truth is that a person can only blame themselves for their problems.
Thank you very much.
I have fully gone through this path, just like you. In my childhood, I was in a terrible life situation. I don't want to say anything bad about my parents, but I had a very difficult fate. All relatives, up to the third generation, everyone drank. It was a terrible situation in this regard, and I just crawled my way out. That means that I started with cold water swimming first, then began practicing yoga, and so on and so on. Just gradually, I did everything that I knew could help me. But the one thing I understood was that at first I felt resentment towards my parents, towards everyone. I thought, Lord, why don't they understand that people can't live like this? And then I realized that this is just a waste of time. Somehow it came to me inside. Maybe these are my problems, not theirs. Maybe I need to resolve them somehow. I thought then that I just have to learn to live without paying attention to this. And I first thought, anyway, these are their problems. I didn't understand that these were my problems, my fate. I thought, these are their problems, and I need to ignore them. I gradually learned to preserve my psyche in this situation and live my own life within this situation. It took years to understand that this situation is yours anyway. It was created for you. Everything that we see in this world is specially for us. You understand? For us. And if a person understands this, then they can change their world. I'll give you an example. I don't remember the name now, but you can find it on the internet. There is one person who went through several dozen, I think more than 10 concentration camps during the war. And then finally they put him on a barge, and this barge was sent to sea to be blown up. Well, it was an old vessel already, and they gathered all the people there on this barge so that it would sink together with them. And this person prayed so much in all these concentration camps that they couldn't blow it up. These people were saved. They were saved. And this person at the age of 29 or around 30 years old became free. The war ended, and at 29 years old, not at 15, not at 10, not at 7, but at 29, he started practicing gymnastics and became a 5-time Olympic champion, 5 times, an 8-time world champion. He ended his career at 36 years old, after dozens of concentration camps. I'm just telling you now that every person has the ability to overcome their fate. Every person has such an opportunity. It's just that not every person wants to work on it. If, for example, you grieve in your heart, feel sad, you get offended at someone close to you, this is just called laziness of the soul, simply laziness. Just like being lazy to go to the store, lazy to do something. When the soul doesn't want to work on its fate, it's easier for it to be sad, cry, feel unhappy, and so on.
What about fear?
Also laziness of the soul. All this means an amount of work. Fear means, I have so much work. You need to work on your fate. I came to you and you expect something from me. Of course you expect something. Why else would you come to the lectures? You expect something from me and I feel it. This is my fate. I accept. I must help you. It's my duty. If I don't accept it, I'll be nervous or angry at you or argue or in the best case throw oranges out of desperation. But I calmly accept the impact of your strong expectations. You want me to help you. But for this, you should accept first. Accept your life. Start with this, and you will be uplifted. Now you should stand up and look at other people. Look, God will show you now. Raise your hand who has already started living like this and has begun to live well happily in this country. Raise your hand.
I'm incredibly happy. I adore my husband, my family. I'm very happy. But I feel bad for our country.
This is your next stage. People who can't cope with their fate don't have energy to worry about the country. You've already dealt with everything. Now you're concerned about the country. God told you, you've dealt with yourself. Now help the country. Help the country. You see how great you all are, how many people raised their hands. Let's hear your question.
I have an adult daughter. She's married and has 2 children. My son-in-law is 40. I have this problem. He was married before her and after her. They seem to live okay now, but he constantly complains to me.
He complains to his mother-in-law? Great, that's great. It's good that he complains to you.
It irritates me.
What? On the contrary, it's great that he complains to you. Do you realize how important it is that he complains to you and not to his own mother? It would be a nightmare if he complained to his mother.
Even today before the lecture, he said, "She's planning to have guests over, but I'm busy. Do something with your daughter."
That's great, that's great. It means he has the right attitude to life. Isn't it great?
It's not always great, but thank you.
No, I like everything. I'm giving no advice. Let him complain to you. The best option is to complain to the mother-in-law. This is a great position for a man. If the mother-in-law accepts the complaints, it's great. It means the family is saved.
I already told him. She can come live with me.
Excellent. He will never kick her out. Great situation. I really like it. Who among you ladies would want your daughter's husband to complain to you? Look, everyone wants that.
Dr. Torsunov, how should I react? Just listen?
Yes, listen carefully, nod along, say, well, yes. You need to understand that life is like a game. You should say, of course, you're right. I agree with you. It's hard with her, but what can we do? Take his side a little bit and explain to her why you're doing this. Then there will be harmony, there will be peace. You see how wise you are that he trusts you. Usually everyone's afraid of their mother-in-law. Mothers-in-law usually tear families apart.
I've been listening to your lectures for a long time.
Well done. It means it's time for you to start giving lectures yourself. Your question, lady, but I feel I'm probably going to scold you.
I'm a retired teacher. I've been listening to your lectures for many years. They have helped me and continue to help. What worries me is that students come to me and ask, "What's wrong with me? Why am I so unlucky?" I explain to some of them, and they even say, "Thank you." I want to. I have the desire, but not the possibility, to be useful, to help these former students and even university students. In our city, we have our own university. I have time. I'm retired. Can you bless me if I deserve it?
I bless you to give lectures to these people yourself.
By myself? But I'm nobody without your help.
I bless you to give lectures.
So I can do it?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Now I want to scold you.
Go ahead, scold me.
Why haven't you been doing this until now?
The thing is, I was away from home very often. For 2 years now, I've been looking for my place, searching for myself. No, I've found myself.
Before you asked the question, God gave me a sign in my heart. Scold her. Now I understand why, because she still isn't sharing knowledge with people.
Thank you. If I have a question, can I contact your students and even you personally through Skype, through Viber?
There are good people clubs.
There's nothing in our city.
Create a club yourself and you'll be able to connect directly with my students. If they can't answer your question, they'll ask me.
I've already done it.
Open a club in your city.
Thank you.
The woman in glasses is a very good person, that's why I asked.
I thought everything was so bad with me that you didn't even want to ask. I listened to your lectures, study, but took a break for the last 2 months. I bought a ticket to this event to come with an open heart. I wanted to make more room for new information. I was really looking forward to this meeting. I've reached a period in my life where I feel a bit stuck. I don't know where to move forward. We can't solve the problem with our house. We can't sell it. We really want to either move to another country or change our housing. There are problems everywhere.
The problem is that the goal of human life is God, but we make this world our goal. When the time that is called a difficult period in life comes, a person must invest very much in their relationship with God. If they don't invest, they feel they're wasting their lifetime. During this time, God takes everything away. He doesn't allow a person to continue engaging in what is secondary in life. When a person passes away, everything they did here is lost. Only their connection with God remains. If a person doesn't do this main thing, their life becomes meaningless. You need to invest in what's most important. Right now is the most difficult period in your life, and it will end in 2 years. You should develop a lot as a person in those 2 years. If you don't develop, it won't end. It will continue further.
Can we move to another country? The children are in Russia.
You can move anywhere, but nothing will change from that.
Thank you.
You must work on yourself for 2 years now. Prayer, self-improvement. If you stay here during this time, it will be the best for you, the very best. If you leave somewhere, it will be harder. There will be many hassles, You won't have time and energy to pray and work on yourself. Right now you have time, you can do it, but you're not doing it.
Thank you, I understand.
Everyone has gathered, so we're starting the lecture. We've been talking for quite a while already. I have some unfinished material from yesterday's lecture that I'm going to talk about now. So, yesterday we talked about the difference between love and infatuation. We haven't finished talking about how people often don't realize that the problems in their lives also stem from the fact that they generally don't understand how personal relationships work. They think they're just unlucky. That's what most people think, that they're unlucky. First, people expect happiness from each other, then they become disappointed, then they think they're unlucky, then they get divorced. That's why there are 80% divorces. This is the general statistics. The reason they think they're unlucky is that they don't understand the structure of relationships. The issue is that relationships between people are meant only for personal development, only for working on oneself. There are entire laws for this. The scriptures describe many things regarding this. You need to do this, you need to do that, and so on. Why is so much written about life? Because life is not as simple as it seems. Some people listen to various psychologists and astrologers who say, the main thing is compatibility. If there's compatibility, there will be happiness. Everything will be good. Look for compatibility. We should ask them, have you found it yourself? The answer will always be negative because this is wrong thinking. The right thinking is that a person must learn to understand that life is an asceticism practice. This asceticism practice shouldn't just be perceived as a burden, but one needs to figure everything out about it. A person must learn to understand the character of their close person. There are, in general, common aspects. Overall, all men need support. They need their wife to inspire them. This is an asceticism practice for her. How to inspire him if he's not what she wanted him to be? When a woman gets married, she expects from a man precisely those masculine qualities that bring her happiness. A man expects from a woman the manifestation of feminine qualities that bring him happiness. These qualities in your close person manifest exactly to the extent that your fate allows. A person comes to a bank and thinks, I probably have $1 million here, but they only have a little bit in their account. They simply don't know about it. It would be good if they did. They believe in something, hope for something, but their possibilities are very small. A close person will always receive bad fate from you. Always. It will be unexpected. They will suffer next to you and you will suffer next to them. But this can be made easier. The first thing a person should know, you need enough strength to ease suffering. If we had more strength, we would suffer less. When a person takes a walk in fresh air, their mood improves, they argue less. When a person goes on vacation, they argue less because they've replenished their strength by contacting nature and so on. The first thing to do is to organize your life in the right way. People mostly wear themselves out in life, live to exhaustion. The reason for this kind of life is that the goal of life is wrong. Most often people expect happiness in the future. Or they're disappointed in everything and think there won't be happiness because they ended up in the wrong country or some other compelling reason. It's very important to understand how to live right in general. Even in personal relationships, it's not enough to know your duties. A man has duties concerning his behavior. Which man, even knowing how to behave with his wife, will actually behave that way? Generally, no one will. Why? Because there's no strength. How to endure women's emotions? It's very difficult. How can a woman endure a man's laziness or inertness? He has to overcome his fate, but instead, he lives like a couch potato. You should understand that this is the first stage of a man's development as a person. It's called exactly that. Couch potato. The first stage is called couch potato, the second stage is called workaholic, and the third stage is called developed person. Who is a couch potato? This is a man who can't make himself live. He just lives like a plant, lazily. He can't force himself. That's how male psychology works. A man either sleeps on the couch or fights. To stop him from sleeping, he needs to be awakened. It's not easy to wake him up because the psyche is very rigid. Life must shake a man hard for him to understand that he needs to develop himself as a person, work on himself, rather than drink, cheat, have fun, and be idle. He needs to put in a lot of effort. It's different for women. Women also have stages of development. The first stage of a woman's development is called the dreamer. The second stage is called the hard worker. And the third stage is the wise woman. First, women wait for something from life. They sit and wait. Then they think everything is bad, difficult, and start looking for happiness in work. They start looking for a profession, working hard. They realize that life is passing by, and then a woman simply becomes a woman. This requires effort in working on oneself. What do both women and men always do? They finish school, then graduate from university, and nothing changes in life from this. A man can graduate from 5 universities and remain a couch potato. This stage of consciousness is overcome only by working on oneself. The purpose of human life is the work of the soul, work on oneself. Women have women's work, men have men's work. A couch potato man brings suffering to his wife, family. He brings enormous suffering. Women suffer greatly from such men. A woman who behaves like a man brings enormous suffering to a man. She doesn't give happiness. She works hard, works a lot, but doesn't give happiness as a woman. Moreover, a woman who is at a stage of a dreamer is very capricious by nature, weepy, sits and cries all day, throws tantrums. In the first stage of a woman's development, it's even harder to live. It's unbearably difficult. We bring suffering to each other, my dears. The reason? We don't know how to live correctly. Happiness lies in correctly chosen goals. Let's say you decided that happiness will come if you learn to earn money, have a nice apartment, have this and that. If you set a goal that happiness is sure to come that way, you enter a certain layer of time's influence. That's true. It's not that your fate has changed. There are 3 types of interaction with your fate. First layer, second layer, third layer. You decided happiness will come. As the song goes, the best song hasn't been sung yet. The best girl, where are you? Everything is still ahead. Everything is still ahead. The bird of tomorrow's happiness flew in with ringing wings. Choose me, bird of tomorrow's happiness. You decided that tomorrow will be better than yesterday. Better than yesterday, better than yesterday. Tomorrow will be better than yesterday. Good. I'll predict your life. There's no free time. You work yourself to exhaustion, come home tired. You have no energy for your wife and children. You don't have normal health. You don't know how to relax, how to rest. You constantly sit late in front of the TV, hoping it will help you relax. Gradually, the TV stops relaxing you, so you start drinking. If this doesn't help, you'll have to find a lover to somehow relieve the tension. This destroys the family, and you end up alone. Together, you dreamed that everything would be good, but somehow everything went wrong. It's an incorrect view of life. Happiness isn't in the future, it's in the present. Happiness means existence in the now. It means existence in the present. First, you need to accept what God has given you. Accept it. This is the first stage of entering the state of happiness. It seems the opposite. If I accept it, things will get even worse. No, when you swallow your fate, it becomes easier to breathe because it's stuck in your throat. The second option is when you're disappointed in everything. It's a bad country. I need to leave somewhere. Everything is bad. Everything is difficult. Like in the song, sadness and melancholy consume me. Everything is bad. Everything is hard. No one hangs out with me. They live unhappy people, savages with terrible faces but kind inside. I can't catch a crocodile, coconuts won't grow, and so on. This is called living in the past. Some people live in the future, others in the past. For them, everything is bad. I had everything. They live in the past. Others live in the future. I will have everything. Both destroy life. Those who live in the future go through 5 stages of life. One decided that one will have everything, and this always means material development. Some say, Dr. Torsunov, we already have everything. Some act even simpler. They go and buy everything they want, pay twice as much, if not 3 times more. They take mortgages, buy everything, and become slaves. Their whole life they work for those who gave them money. It's even worse. A person can't be happy when in slavery. A slave cannot be happy. Seems like you have an apartment, you have everything, but there's no happiness. The debt constantly weighs on you. You live dependent on it, thinking, what should I do now? My dears, understand, freedom is better than property. Freedom is better. Write it down and repeat it when you leave the lecture. Freedom is better. Freedom is better. Someday you'll understand this. Someday. So there are 3 layers of life, including personal life. If your loved one beats you, drinks, doesn't want to live normally, doesn't work, cheats, acts out of control, it means you should live separately. But don't divorce and keep praying, because it's impossible to influence them directly. Such a person is beyond influence. If your loved one works hard, lives like everyone else, works a lot, comes home tired, then your goal is to pray more and try to bring them into the present time. It's easier to get a person out of the future than from the past. They need to accept everything. Happiness exists right now. You can sit next to your wife, ask for forgiveness for everything, and happiness will come immediately. This requires strength. People need to understand that they must accept their fate and receive life as it is now, start rejoicing in it, and gradually it will become better and better. A person's fate begins to live in the present time and turns them into a very strong personality. You can overcome everything in your life, but first you need to connect with your fate. If a person has gone into the future, they don't connect with it, they have no strength. Strength comes when a person first accepts everything. No need to run anywhere. Everything that exists is already good. Many people ask questions, which means they cannot accept. I help them accept. What's my job? I help people swallow their fate. Dr. Torsunov, I somehow can't swallow it. I say, come on, sit comfortably. Done. Did you swallow it? Yes, I did. Next one. Nothing can be done with fate. You'll have to swallow it. You need to swallow it. Some people fundamentally don't want to swallow it. Miss, you can defeat this person in court. You need to pray. You should pray. Or you can fight if you want to. You're not satisfied with my answer. Fight with him.
I'm very afraid of him.
Give him the money back. Along with the money, you can say, here's your money, and with it everything you deserve. That's how it will be. Along with the money, he will get what he deserves. That's how fate works. Do you think you must punish him? God can punish.
If he gets what he deserves, then it's worth it.
Never wish evil upon a person.
I don't wish that.
You do. You just need to give it back. God will sort everything out. You got what's yours, he'll get what's his. Pray to forgive. Swallow your fate. Accept your fate. Pray to forgive. If you can't, then fight. Become a winner. Make him accept what he must accept. If someone wants to cause me harm, I can feel it. I don't engage with them at all. I sit down and pray for as long as I need. If it takes 50 hours, then 50. If it's 100 hours, then 100. I pray, 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 pray. Do you know how I pray? I have two options. If a person lacks intelligence, then God will give them intelligence not to do this. If a person is intelligent and acts aggressively against me with the aim to destroy my service to God, then I simply pray that all the force they directed at me returns back to them. Everything they want to do to me, let them receive it themselves, if I'm not guilty of anything. If I am guilty, let God punish me. There's no problem with that. God gladly returns everything back to them. I don't even need to pray much there. Just a little effort and everything they want comes back to them. A person must be strong. Become strong. That's the lesson. Learn to be strong. This is the meaning of all our conversations. A person shouldn't be sick. Let's say a person has cancer. They have two options. Either they will die or they will live. Even if a person has cancer and dies, they led an incorrect life and therefore came to such an outcome. One needs to know that the death of the body itself is not a defeat. If a person feels they won't live, they should pray constantly. When a person passes away while in prayer, they receive such blessings that they could never receive in this life. It's unreal. They receive the highest divine grace. I had one case, I've told it many times, I'll tell it again. 2 women with malignant tumors approached me yesterday. I'll tell you about this case so you understand that life is different, not as you think. The daughter of a very dignified holy person came to me in a holy place and said, "My father is dying of cancer. He's already unconscious. Help him." I said, "I can't." She said, "Help." I can't refuse because this is a serious request. I started praying and felt that I needed to use a certain tree bark on his body for treatment. I did so. He had lymph node cancer. It gave 2 metastases to the head and many metastases throughout the body. This person was unconscious, couldn't understand anything. I applied the bark on his body, and after 5-6 days, the metastases in his head dissolved, and he began to think clearly and came to his senses. Then, one by one, the metastases started to dissolve. Some of them were visible on the surface of the body, and they also started to shrink. You could see the tumor dissolving. There were many of these metastases. I was happy and said, "See, you'll be cured, you'll be healthy." He looked at me and said, "Wait, I don't know what God's plans are. Why he pulled me out of this condition, I don't know yet. I'll tell you when I find out." He started praying. He prayed to understand what the Lord wanted. After a few days, while he was recovering, he told me, "The Lord wants to take me." He told me calmly and continued, "And God showed me the abode where I will go." His eyes shone with happiness. I said, "But you're recovering." He said, "I told you the Lord's answer. I will continue the treatment as you say, but I know the answer. I will prepare for what he told me." He increased his prayers. He began preparing for passing away, although he was recovering. About a week or 2 passed, and at some point, the treatment unexpectedly stopped working. He used the roots and bark, but there's no effect. Then it started getting worse and we stopped applying the bark. A couple of days passed and he said, I already know the day of my death. He gathered his friends, dignified people of faith, and they all started praying together. He was praying too. First he was sitting, then he lay down, and that night, with a smile on his face and joy in his eyes, he passed away. A person lives in this world and thinks that their life's purpose is what happens here. This is all good, but it indicates a very narrow understanding of life. Very narrow, you see. Once I was driving and saw a person. He died in an accident, and the subtle energy body, the soul, was separating from the physical body. I saw the moment of separation. I saw how he hovered in his subtle body over his physical body, and he was very surprised. He didn't expect it to be like this. He couldn't understand what was happening. He was very surprised. He was an atheist and didn't know that life has an eternal nature. He didn't know that there is no death after the body dies, and he was very surprised. Our consciousness remains as it is. In this life or the next, it stays with us. The body changes, but consciousness remains the same. Invest, my dears, in your consciousness. Everything you have now will remain with the body. Your life will flow in another place. This will happen with you. Everything you want here on earth now is normal, but it's just meant for sustaining life. A person shouldn't invest too much. If they see that it's excessively difficult for them, maybe it's not necessary. If you live more or less normally, thank God, develop as a person, invest in what will be eternal for you, then your life will become happy here too. The formula is this: if a person lives correctly, they receive more easily what they need, less if they strive for what they need more. We need more of the energy source. We need to be filled. We need to become strong. This is the purpose of human life. We must connect with nature through asceticism practice, through movement, through fasting. We must receive energy from nature, and then the body becomes healthy. It's easier to live in it. We must learn to love people, and then we develop social strength. A person who loves people will never be left without work, will never remain in poverty, will never remain lonely. These are all signs of human stinginess and laziness. All types of poverty are just stinginess and laziness. One needs to learn to develop love for people. One person asked me today, I want to start giving lectures. Why am I not successful? I told him that the problem is not whether you can or cannot give lectures, but that you need to learn to love people. When people feel your love, they will immediately want to listen to you. Because you can only listen to love. You won't hear anything else. You understand? A person can only listen to love. They cannot listen to some kind of rhetoric. That means that our problem is only that we invest in the wrong things. That means we think that if I work more, then I will be richer. A person becomes richer if they become more developed. One needs to develop as a personality. Look how our thinking works. When the liver hurts, what do we treat? The liver. But we just need to become kinder. Because when a person is kinder, they have no conflict with the surrounding world. It's easier for the liver to cope. It's difficult for it to deal with our conflict. That means we conflict with people, spend the energy of our willpower, and the liver feeds on human willpower. And when we're in conflict, we spend our willpower on resolving the conflict. Just become kinder, accept people, forgive, and your liver will stop hurting. You see, a direct reaction is not always needed. If you, let's say, have no money, then perhaps you should check yourself. Look, most likely you constantly think about money and don't love work. This might be the reason. Or maybe you don't love or respect your government, your superiors. That's why you can't climb up the social ladder. Your job might be low paying and so on simply because you have the wrong attitude in life. You don't accept this country, don't accept the government, don't accept your elders, and that's why you're at the bottom and you don't have a good salary because of this. Love for people gives a person the ability to be strong in this world. But what if a person has some insurmountable difficulty in life? For example, some of you say, Dr. Torsunov, I don't want to live in this country and I have nowhere to go. What should I do? This is called an insurmountable difficulty. It can be overcome through prayer. I'm telling you exactly for sure. I'm telling you for certain that wherever I go, even where people don't know me, even in Zimbabwe, I just pray and start living anew there, and I will live normally. I'm telling you exactly 100% sure. Become developed people. Develop as a personality. You will always be in demand everywhere. Don't look for reasons that something is lacking in this country. You are children of the earth and can live anywhere. When you go somewhere, you'll see that it's not better there. Raise your hand if any of your close ones, relatives, friends went somewhere, and it became better for them. They live happily there. What's the person's name?
Lena.
Her name is Lena? She left 3.5 years ago. She just started having a good period in her life. It lasted 2 years, and her good period will continue for another half year. Then watch what happens. You see, it's just an illusion. Look how many people, 3 people from the entire auditorium raised their hands, while almost half the country left. Understand, it's all just an illusion. You see, it's just an illusion. Just one woman raised her hand. Just a good period came. They got lucky there. But then difficulties begin, you see, and don't tell them about this, or they'll say that Dr. Torsunov just cursed us. Don't tell them about this. You'll see, just observe. You can pray for them. The bad period will come anyway. That's how fate works. What environment? This is your environment. You've fallen under your fate. This is your environment. How can you change it? You can only shoot yourself. And in this case, you'll continue living in your subtle energy body. God won't give you a new life. A person who commits suicide continues living the same life. But no one sees them. It's called living in a ghost body. And therefore they disturb everyone, walking around, appearing in everyone's dreams, and can't leave anything behind. We have no options to change the environment, because your environment is inside you. It's just that according to their fate, they were meant to get good fortune for a while after moving. You'll see later how what I told you works, because it doesn't happen that a person moves somewhere and immediately everything gets better. It's just such a period.
What about marriage?
If you got married, of course, but to get married you need to work hard, my dear. Just don't rush to marry a foreigner. You're under such an illusion, my dears, about marrying a foreigner. What's the difference? Is he a foreigner or not? God will still give you the one you deserve. Whether he's from there or from here, what's the difference? Raise your hand who married a foreigner. Well, did it get better?
He died.
It's not funny, my dears. Who else married a foreigner? You did, my dear? How many years ago?
My daughter married a foreigner and moved to Latvia. She lives happily.
Well, okay, fine. Happy for a while. My dears, it doesn't happen that you just move somewhere and become happy. You know, he's working himself to exhaustion, getting tired. This is what's already happening. This is what I'm predicting. The next stage will be fatigue. Then the family will start falling apart, and you need to do what I'm saying. You need to learn to pray. There's no such thing as marrying a foreigner and immediately becoming happy forever. It's just ridiculous, my dears. But I don't treat anyone as a foreigner because I give lectures everywhere in Latvia, where they also want to marry foreigners, and in Lithuania, and in Germany, and in Belgium, and in America, and in Belarus, and even in China. I don't treat anyone as a foreigner. Everyone is dear to me. It's the same everywhere. You can't run away from your fate. You can't run away anywhere. And people who escape to another country endure such upheavals in life. I consulted 150 people who left Russia for America, emigrants. When I lived in San Francisco, I consulted 150 people. I specifically spent time on this. All these people I consulted had a terrible 5-year adaptation period to the new mentality, to the new life, new language. Everything was different for them. They were like being reborn in severe pain. They constantly wanted to go back. That means they didn't know what to do. They were going crazy. You understand? And then, when they finally got used to it, after this time passed, they think they won't go back now because they'd have to adapt again. Poor things. They've had enough of traveling. I wouldn't say they became happier because of it. I wouldn't say that because there are advantages and disadvantages. Let's say a person has a higher salary. People think that's an advantage, but in reality there are many disadvantages. For example, here people treat each other tenderly and kindly, but if you go to Germany, for example, you will find coldness. There is a wall between people. You can't reach them. There is no one to be friends with, only emptiness. A person lives as if in a vacuum. Who among you has lived there? Sometimes there's good karma for this, but most people who move there feel emptiness. Who just said that? That's exactly right. You see, someone confirms it.
This emptiness exists in Moldova and Russia too. This emptiness is there too. I lived there, I saw it, and now I came here and saw the same thing here. What should we do?
What to do? You need to understand that emptiness simply reflects your incorrect way of living. That's all. People may not be interested or may not care, but you should see it as a transition. Let me explain now. There are 3 states of intelligence. When intelligence develops, people start to see this world differently. They start finding different types of friends. The fact is, there are good people in Germany. It all depends on a person's development. Everything depends on the energy state they live in. In the state of goodness, all people are developed. There is a passion layer in Germany. In Russia, the passion layer manifests in people's rough and harsh behavior. Here, people in the state of passion drink and enjoy life to the fullest. In Germany, people in the state of passion exhaust themselves with work. They have no time to socialize. This layer exists everywhere, but it functions differently. People in pure goodness are the same everywhere. They are able to pray, communicate, think about God, form friendships, and so on. From this perspective, I also see no difference. I travel often and always interact with people who work on themselves. They are the same everywhere. From this point of view, there is no problem. There's no difference at all. What I'm saying is that if you haven't developed yourself, you're in transition now. When intelligence is frozen, people live like everyone else. They're afraid to change something. They think, what lectures? That's dangerous. Not eating meat? What are you talking about? Not drinking? Well, we need at least a little. We're Moldovans after all. And so on. What are you talking about? How can that be? People have very frozen intelligence that can't accept anything new. You don't have a mistress? That's such a boring way to live. You'll develop sexual dysfunction. And so on. Frozen intelligence means living by the same standard as everyone else. Oh, something in my apartment isn't like everyone else's. I need a European-style renovation. Oh, they spend their whole life working for this. There is not enough money for anything, but the most important thing is to be like everyone else. Others visit my home and see my renovation. Giving your life away like this is foolish. God gave you life to develop yourself. But you think you should pour your energy into trivial things. This is madness. There are people whose intelligence declines over time. Now they are like this. In a year they become worse, degrading gradually. Others tell them, listen, you're starting to look like a pig. You're already like a sheep. Listen, you're already like a goat.
Why are there moments of degradation in listening to lectures? At first I listened to lectures eagerly, but now, when I turn them on, I can't. Why is it so difficult?
Because you're going through a period where life feels very hard. To listen to lectures, you need strength. And right now, you have no strength. You don't have energy for anything right now. Are you married?
Civil marriage.
Civil marriage means married. Do you have strength for your husband? No, you see, you don't have strength for anyone, not even for lectures.
It's because 2 years ago, I found out that my child has autism. That affected me very strongly.
Your child's autism simply reflects tension. Tension in a child is similar to tension in an adult. The difference is that an adult has already formed and can live with this tension. But a child cannot live with tension and doesn't develop because of it. It can be overcome through prayer and a healthy lifestyle. Your child lives off your energy. You need to start moving more and spend time in nature. Right now you lack the energy of nature. You need movement. Go outside and walk. You'll start to feel better. Or stand near a tree and think about God, wish happiness to everyone, and you'll start feeling better. People around might think that you've lost your mind. Even dogs might bark at you because you're not behaving like everyone else, but you will start feeling better.
It's just an understanding that this is for life.
This is nonsense.
This is what's killing me.
What's killing you is the workload on your soul. You are unwilling to work with your soul. That's why you're suffering. No, there's no autism. It's simply a difficulty that needs to be overcome, that's all. That's what it's called now. Your child is underdeveloped right now. He might remain so for life, but the current issue is tension. This is what prevents him from developing. If you remove the tension, he will start developing already now. He's just tense. Tension can be alleviated by fresh air, nature, and large animals, especially nursing animals like horses and cows. These animals naturally give love to all children, whether human or animal. Placing your child near such large animals that also have their own children deeply relaxes the child's psyche. That's the idea behind dolphin therapy, though it doesn't have to be dolphins. Dolphins end up being more expensive and hard to find. Any large nurturing animal will work. Put your child near the animal and your child will relax because there's a lot of maternal energy. If it's difficult for you to find a large nurturing animal, then become strong yourself. Become a big, strong mother who can provide enough energy to help the child relax. You have a certain workload. This is your butt, this workload of yours in life. There are two options. One option is to break down and live in depression. The second option is to rise in prayer, tune into God, and overcome fate. The choice is yours. If you choose to overcome fate, you'll save not only your child, but also yourself and everyone around you. Who among you had a child diagnosed with autism but worked hard and achieved great results? Raise your hands. Look at these people. Go to these people, talk to them, and get strength from their experience. Remember, if your child is diagnosed with autism, there is only one root cause for it, which is tension. When a child lives on a high floor and lacks the earth's energy, it creates tension. All the people are tense on high floors. When children don't walk enough or don't spend enough time outside, they become tense and lack the strength to grow. You work yourself to exhaustion, neglect a healthy lifestyle, and keep overworking. You come home and watch TV all day. This is also a form of tension. You live in tension, and you get used to it because TV distracts you from it, but it doesn't remove the tension. The child also becomes tense as a result because you are tense. This is called life in passion. When parents live in passion, their children become tense. Their attention span decreases and they struggle to learn. If someone were to hang me upside down now and say, "Dr. Torsunov, smile and give a lecture," I'd reply, "It's kind of hard for me, I feel some tension." Then your diagnosis is autism. That's it, for life. But in reality, the person is just tense. That's all. Relax them and everything will be fine. Remove the tension. You are tense yourself. So first, remove the tension from yourself. Your husband is also tense. Because you are tense, you can't even make a decision to live together. You don't have enough strength. This is the reality of your life now. You say your child is autistic. He's not autistic, he's just tense. He is a normal child. I see your child. He is such a kind, affectionate child. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Yes, he is a sensitive child. Sensitive means he reacts strongly to everything, and that's why he's tense. But his sensitivity is not the point. This is simply your fate. All of this together is called your fate. A cowboy was captured. He was tied to a tree while Indians were jumping and dancing. He asks his inner voice, "Will I be able to escape?" The inner voice replied, "Of course you can. Every person can escape." He said, "I don't really believe that." The voice answered, "Well, then you won't escape." He asked, "But is this the end or not?" The voice replied, "Well, it's not the end yet." He asked the inner voice, "When is the end?" The voice said, "Do you see that Indian with the longest feathers?" He replied, "I see him." The voice instructed, "Ask him to come to you. Call him." He called, "Spit in his face." He spat. Now that's the end. Everything depends on what you strive for. Even in children's jokes, there is a solution to your problem. What are you striving for? I evaluate each situation simply by the amount of work involved. For example, given what you're going through now, it would take me about 5 months of prayers for 2 hours a day, plus jogging, plus yoga. If I do all of this, it would take me 5 months to overcome this situation. The husband decides to marry. The child relaxes. Everyone is healthy. If I were in your body and in your situation, it would take me 5 months to overcome it.
I've already decided that I don't want to. I've been thinking too long. I don't even understand what I want anymore. We're so tired of each other from yesterday's situation that I don't want anything anymore. Now I need strength just to make this decision.
Look here, let's say I decided to lie in bed until the very end. I lie and lie. Someone tells me, "Listen, this is not the right way to live. You need to get up." I reply, "It's already hard for me to get up. I already have bed sores and everything. Why are you bothering me? I've been lying here too long anyway. What are you complaining about now, my dear? You are telling me about your own fate. Should I tell you how you lived in your past life? You are now complaining to me about your own fate. You are saying, it's changing so slowly. Well, it changes according to how much effort you put in. So let's now talk about the most important thing. I have diagnosed the situation and understood where we should start. You need to start with an understanding that when a person is in a depressed state, they must first and foremost learn to recharge themselves. This is the first thing they must do. Learn to recharge. Because a depressed state means the batteries are dead. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're sick. You think, I don't have proper treatment and that's why I'm sick. I'm a doctor with 25 years of experience and I don't treat with pills. I use methods that truly help and I know them all. I know with certainty that if a person's batteries are drained and if they lack nature's energy, no method will work at full strength. And even if it works, it quickly depletes and stops helping a person altogether. For example, I wear stones. People often ask me, what stones do you have, Dr. Torsunov? What stones? What difference does it make? Everyone has their own stones. That's not the point. If I don't jog fast or do yoga, these stones will stop working for me after 5 days. They will stop helping me because the batteries that give me health will be depleted. All treatment methods, herbs, stones, anything you use as treatment, derive their strength from nature's energy. To maintain this energy, a person must receive nature's energy through asceticism practices. For example, if someone walks continuously and wishes happiness for everyone, they draw in the types of nature's energy they need for life. You need to walk long enough. For example, if you are just walking, you need to walk on average about 2.5 to 3 hours to fully charge your batteries. Alternatively, you can run for an hour and a half. This will provide an even deeper charge. However, to run for an hour and a half, you need to build up to it. It took me 2.5 years to develop the ability to run that long and fully charge my batteries. When I do yoga for 2.5 hours, I fully charge my batteries. Every day I fast until lunch. I eat nothing. I only drink water. These 3 types of activities, continuous movement, yoga, and fasting, extend human life and make a person very strong. They charge a person's psyche and energy reserves. It's not enough to just walk a little and stop. You need to walk continuously without stopping. Fasting should also be continuous, not that you fast, eat, and then fast again. Asceticism practice gives a person the opportunity to fully recharge and gain strength. Now listen closely. What I'm going to share is very difficult but extremely powerful. Let's say someone is praying and you're listening to the sound of prayer. Just listen to the sound of prayer. You pray like they do. Repeat the prayer like they do, in their mood, and try to forget about yourself. When you forget yourself and focus on them, your memory disconnects from your fate. Whatever your memory contacts with, that's where human fate moves. By connecting with someone who prays and thinks about God, you too think of God. At that moment, you burn away your bad fate. What does burning away bad fate mean? It literally means your bad fate diminishes. I can give you an entire lecture with 1,000 examples from my life and the lives of my friends, and even from many of you here, of how we have overcome fate through prayer. Once a week, when I'm at home, my assistants and I pray together very loudly for 2 hours, playing the voice of a holy person at full volume. One day, a woman who always participated very seriously in these prayers just listened to my introduction, but did not join in. I was tuning participants for prayer. She listened and went about her business, taking her child with her. That day, her fate aligned in a way that could have killed her. 2 cars crashed, and 1 car started rolling toward her as she was walking nearby with her child. The car sort of fell on them and began rolling with them. Both she and the child got into this mess. Everyone who saw this thought she had died. They had no doubt in their minds. But when they pulled them out from under the car, she had only a small bruise, and the child was unharmed. All the time while she was walking, she was thinking about prayer, focusing on God. Later, she shared that when the car flew toward her, she felt completely protected, without a trace of fear about what was happening. She rolled over several times like this. She ended up under the car, but when they pulled her out, she was unharmed. I have countless examples like this. The main reason for your suffering is your incorrect lifestyle. This is absolutely certain. That's why I'm sharing these stories with you. Start by diagnosing yourself. Do you live in the future, the past, or the present? What do you do during the day? If you're constantly grieving, you live in the past. If you think about how to make money all day, you live in the future. But if you love nature, rejoice, wish happiness to others, read spiritual books, pray, and spend some time during the day fulfilling your duties, for example, working, without thinking that this is the purpose of your life, then you live in goodness. If you live in goodness, your life will gradually begin improving. Living in goodness transforms your life. First, it will become easier for you. You will see this world differently. You will see that most people live incorrectly, and you will be very surprised by this. There's no need to be surprised because this is how this world works. Most people live incorrectly, but when you start living properly, you'll attract like-minded people who live correctly. The lady who was talking before was wrong. Wherever I go, I see only people who live correctly. Why? Because my fate draws me to them. I came to this city. You have your experience, I have mine. I look at this city. You are part of this city for me. And I see only those people who live correctly. I don't see any other people. You're wrong about this. It depends on who sees what. You see those people, and I see these ones because I have a different fate. Wherever I go, I see only good people everywhere. They all say, Dr. Torsunov has arrived. Hooray! Only good people can behave like this. Bad people cannot behave this way. Only good people can love others, respect elders, rejoice, and experience happiness. Only good people can do this. Bad people cannot. These people will change. Their life will gradually improve because they have chosen the right path. They want to live correctly and want to be happy. The first thing a person must do when they want to change is to gain knowledge about how to live. They must understand certain things. Let's take a closer look at this. Imagine someone goes into nature. They arrive, light a fire, grill some meat, eat, turn on the TV, watch it and leave. Did they truly connect with nature? No. Why not? Because they didn't tune in correctly. Connecting with nature requires a different consciousness. It takes effort. You need to force yourself. That means you need to arrive and consciously make yourself love nature. You need to detach from yourself. The best way is to either move in nature, do healing practices, or begin caring for nature, like cleaning up trash or taking care of the forest. There are two options. Pick one of them. Similarly, when you visit a temple, you have options. One option is to join the service, start listening to the chants. The second option is to start helping with tasks, care, serve, or contribute. Both approaches are effective. In a temple, you will receive God's divine power. In nature, you will receive nature's energy. But if you sit in front of the TV, you gain nothing. Now let's consider a third option, receiving energy from people. Do you want to receive energy from people? Fine, then receive energy from people. Help them. That's it. Who's stopping you? Go out and perform heroic deeds at every step. A person can live like this. Today I gave a lecture at a Vedic temple, and they brought me a box of oranges to distribute. I said, let's give these oranges to people at the evening lecture instead. They bought these oranges themselves for me to distribute. They said, don't worry, we'll buy 5 more boxes for later, don't worry. Distribute these here. All because they are good people. This is life. Let's say you want to be happy in family life. Great, the same principles apply here. The only thing that prevents a person from living is self-focus. It holds them back. Give yourself to others. Forgive your loved ones. Forgive and let go of grudges. Help others. Force yourself to live. To know how to love, to know how to forgive, and to forever give yourself to others. Completely give yourself to others. This is what it means to live, grieving, lamenting, and crying. That isn't life. It's the destruction of your fate. Don't destroy your fate. Unfortunately, our discussion schedule is arranged in such a way that I won't be able to cover all topics for you. Consider this more of an overview seminar. Next time, we will delve into a specific topic. For now, let's talk about everything a little bit. For example, work. Often people don't understand why nothing works out for them. It is because they are not properly and correctly attuned. For example, a man thinks, why can't I find a decent job? The answer is there are 3 stages of male development. The first stage is the sleeping man, an unawakened man. He can't find a good job because nobody needs someone like that. Such people are easy to spot. After 2 minutes of conversation, an employer thinks, oh no, another headache. No need, we have enough of our own. This is an unawakened man. A woman might say, but all women are awakened. Well, women have different issues. There are male problems and there are female ones. Don't confuse or compare them. A woman who works herself to exhaustion is also not awakened. She doesn't understand that she's a woman. That's also a major issue. We'll talk about this a bit later. Back to men. If he says, I can't find a job, everywhere they offer me a low salary, he is just not awakened. How can he wake up? By taking daily action, jog, wish happiness to others, pray, fast, and take cold water swims. Simply make efforts on yourself every day. Gradually, the time will come when your consciousness will become vigorous, happy, and joyful. You will stop obsessing over low pay, avoiding action through thoughts like, they pay me poorly, why should I work there? Just start working somewhere. A man's intelligence is designed in such a way that it develops only through action. Imagine cars from the past. To start them, you had to turn a lever in the front. A person is exactly like that type of machine. A man is exactly like that type of machine. He needs to do something first, no matter what it is. The key is simply to get moving. When a man is idle, just sitting at home, he becomes like a couch potato. Over time, this man who has become a couch potato will get worse and worse until he drinks himself to death or something. It's just a downward spiral. A man needs to work somewhere, even if it's for little money, even if it's not enough money to live on. He must simply work. Work activates man's intelligence, wakes him up, and makes him view life more clearly. He quits bad habits. As he works, he becomes better. He reads and gradually transitions to the second stage of male development. It's already an improvement. He turns into a man who is capable of doing something in life. This stage is called workaholic. It means he works himself to death. His wife asks him, "When will you come home? I'm tired of waiting for you." The wife remains dissatisfied. She has her problems that need to be solved. She dislikes a couch potato because she is annoyed when her husband does nothing. It means she has to work. When her husband is a workaholic, she dislikes it because he's never home. He doesn't spend time with the children. When he comes home, he's silent, watching hockey. Why? Because he's exhausted, tense, and doesn't know how to rest. The third stage of male development is a developed person. This means a person is no longer on a downward spiral. He started to develop, he became balanced, he became a real man. A developed man prioritizes God first, development in society second, and family third. For a developed woman, God also comes first, not family. Family comes second, not work, and work comes third. You need to put everything in its proper place first. Please understand that if God is not in the first place, you won't even have the strength. You simply won't have the strength to live. A young woman was saying, "I have no strength to live." That's because of incorrect living. Start living correctly, and you'll gain the strength to live. The first step is to recharge your batteries. If you don't believe me, why not try? Take this young man right here, for instance. You're overheating. You need water fasting at least until lunch, combined with static exercises. Without this, your psyche remains vulnerable and sensitive. You will be easily irritated. You will lose yourself. Emotional overload will cost you relationships. Excess heat in a person's body is simply the influence of time. It's part of aging, regardless or your actual age. Every person must remove these energies of time through ascetic practices. For example, you, lady, you are tense and overstrained. You have strong tension inside. You need static and dynamic exercises. Yes, you, young lady, in the first row there in glasses. Movement relaxes the psyche. You lack this movement, that's why you feel tense. This tension exhausts you. This exhaustion doesn't allow you to connect deeply with others. Stiffness occurs as a result. You, madam, are gaining excess weight. You need movement plus fasting to remove excess weight. 3 asceticism practices address 3 negative influences of time. Each of you has one of these 3 influences. This means the battery is being depleted. It's being depleted in different directions. A man in the third row, you are overheating. You're experiencing emotional overload, so you might tend to drink. Why? Because your psyche can't handle the load. You have these options, either drinking or cheating, because the energy of love removes this tension. Watching all kinds of films also helps to cope with tension. You need to do something. Either you fast and do static exercises. You can do these with prayer. That's all. It will cool you down, and you will feel good. Contact with water would also have a positive effect.
I'm constantly cold.
My dears, this means tension. Feeling cold is tension. Please understand that I won't tell you now what each of you needs to do. I just want to tell you this. The first thing a person must do is charge their battery. Otherwise, their life functionality is reduced. They can't live normally. Tomorrow I will go running. I won't run my 15 kilometers because I recently recovered from the flu. If I run 15 kilometers, I'll let you know. I won't tell you where I intend to run because I'll be charging up. I can't give consultations while running. I don't give consultations in the bathroom or toilet. No consultations while eating or running.
What's the criterion for a full battery?
The criterion for a full battery is when you feel good. When you run at full capacity, wishing happiness to everyone and loving people and nature, you feel good. When you stand still or practice yoga and pray, you start feeling good. When you fast and pray, when you don't think about anything negative and wish happiness to everyone, you start feeling good. When a person does these 3 types of healing practices, they come to their senses, they start feeling good. They remove stress and tension. Why do people walk around holy places on pilgrimage? Because it prolongs life and removes tension. Why do people stand in water for a long time? Why do they stand near trees? Why do they fast for God? Because it prolongs life. This is how a person should live. This is the first step, my dears. If you don't do this, you won't have the strength to live.
Should this be done daily?
If I ran 15 kilometers, it's enough for me for 6 days.
What about winter?
It's possible. Just go outside and nature will enter you because you've drawn this potential from asceticism practices. Step outside. Who among you knows this? Those of you who have run know the feeling. After running, the fresh air feels amazing. It's so refreshing, so uplifting. Lord, what beauty! You didn't notice it before. Nature enters you, and you feel happiness. You love everyone, and you wish happiness to everyone. Or when someone fasts, they think, Lord, what beauty, how wonderful everything is, how much I love everything. Those of you who have fasted know what I'm talking about. Or, let's say, you've stayed in water for a long time with prayer, not the kind of situation when you got drunk and jumped to swim. No, I'm talking about a pure lifestyle, about prayer in the water. For example, I once stood in the water, gazing at the sun with my eyes closed and wishing happiness to everyone. Meanwhile, people around were swimming nearby at the beach. They couldn't help but stop swimming and stare at me. Look, they said, a cultist is praying. Why do they react that way? Because it draws attention. When someone is charging their batteries, it's very attractive. Since they don't know how to interpret it, they rely on their limited understanding of life. They might cluck about it, and that's okay. It's normal. It's just their level of understanding. I don't take offense at them because that's the extent of their capacity to understand me, but I can see beyond them. While they cluck, I see their fates, their life. I see why they react like this and what it will lead to.
What can you say about baptism? Some people say baptism doesn't mean washing away all sins.
I can say this, when someone washes away their sins, it doesn't mean all their sins are gone, but it's a very good thing to do. My dears, don't listen to the grumblers. Don't listen to any grumblers. They befoul you. You lose faith. Don't let them pollute your faith. Baptism is wonderful. Go and get baptized. Even if you're not Orthodox, still get baptized. It helps. When my friends gather for baptism, they all bathe together. There's prayer going on. It's beautiful. It's uplifting. You should cherish when people believe in God. It's beautiful. Always love this and never fear it. I have Muslim acquaintances in Kazan. They took me to their Muslim religious services. Someone translated for me from Tatar. I sat and listened, and it was all fascinating to me. I'm not Muslim, but I like it. I have Orthodox friends who tell me about God, and I enjoy listening to them. Life is beautiful in this world when you love everything around you, everything sacred and elevated. But when someone starts complaining, blah, 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 this and that, it means nothing. Just go somewhere else to complain. So men, remember the first point. There are 3 stages. Let's say you can't find your place in life. Look at your habits. You can't wake up early, you have bad habits, and your wife says, I can't live with you anymore. Well, that means you're at the first stage. Start developing yourself as a person. Don't try to find the perfect job, just find any job, and that will help you become a better person. Just get a job, any job. This is crucial to understand, otherwise you won't move forward. This is the first stage of a man's personal growth. The second stage is when you found a job, and that's great, but you don't know how to rest. You're overworking yourself, and your relationships with your wife, kids, everyone are suffering. Everything feels heavy. You are currently at the second stage of development. It's nothing to worry about. Everything is fine. At this point, you just need to focus on one thing. Learn how to rest. Recharge your batteries. You're drained, exhausted. Take a step back from work. You might think, I don't have time, I need a promotion, more money, more everything, but you're on the verge of breaking down. There are 5 stages of existence. Stage 1, the bird of happiness will come tomorrow, everything will be fine. Stage 2, fatigue. Stage 3, breaking point. Stage 4, losing yourself. Stage 5, starting over. What stage are you at? Are you at everything is great, fatigue, breaking point? Where do you stand? Just understand that you need to change your mindset. Work won't save you. You have to prioritize your inner self, working on your soul. Work is good, but it should be done with the energy you've built up from working on yourself. The strength you've accumulated is what will sustain you. Don't push yourself too hard. Overexertion will spill over into your relationships with your wife, your children. The third stage of a man's development is balance. He establishes a proper daily routine, prays, and lets go of bad habits. He understands the value of healthy relationships and focuses more on loving his work and people rather than obsessing over money. He learns that the more he loves his work, people, and dedicates his efforts to God, the more he grows. He starts respecting and accepting authority figures, learning to see past their flaws. This helps him develop socially. When a man reaches this third stage, I can start teaching him how to advance further in his career. There are 4 stages of growth for someone who has become a true person. Before reaching this point, they are not yet fully a person. They are on their way. A balanced man leads a rational life, a reasonable existence, and progresses through 4 stages. The first stage, he becomes active and thinks, I want to do what I enjoy. That's great. Do it. But this stage is called the hobby stage. It means you'll do what you enjoy, but no one else will care about it. Why? Because you're not thinking about others. You're only thinking about what you like. What you like may not appeal to anyone else because it's personal to you. Learn to see others. For example, when my students start learning my methods, they get excited and say, "I've learned to pick the perfect stone. I know exactly who they picked the stone for. Yes, correct, for themselves." The stone suits them 100%. But what about the person they chose it for? They didn't even consider that person. This first stage is called a hobby. Someone paints a picture and tries to sell it, but no one wants it. They say, "But it's beautiful, look," yet everyone can see it's not. Why? Because they made it for themselves. Someone cooks food and says, "Eat," but everyone grimaces. Why? Because they cooked it for themselves, filling it with their own ego. I once attended an Ayurveda course, and the instructor spent the entire session explaining how cucumbers are bad for your health. I looked at him and thought, cucumbers are bad for his health. That's the first stage, a personal bias. I stopped listening after that. The first stage of being a doctor is thinking, what helped me will help everyone else, and treating everyone the same way. That's not a developed mindset. The hobby stage won't bring money. Why? Because at this point, the person is focused on developing themselves and enjoying the work. That's great. Before this stage, someone isn't yet fully developed. They're stuck in the mindset of, I haven't found the perfect job for me yet. Fine, keep growing. The second stage is about hard work. They push themselves, and that's fine. It's part of the process. But as they grow, they'll eventually reach a point of enthusiasm where they're eager to do something and enjoy life. They'll be happy to live, and this marks the first stage of discovering their true purpose, a hobby. It's exciting and fun, but it doesn't pay. That's fine. Be patient. Over time, they'll get tired of living this way and think, maybe Dr. Torsunov was wrong. They'll realize they need to work where the money is, not just where it feels good. They'll then move to the second stage where they start thinking, what can I do that works? What will earn me money, and good money at that? And a person finds a place for themselves and feels like they are succeeding here. This is when they reach the second stage, which is called a person's abilities. It is the stage of development through work and abilities. What does this mean? A person works, earns a good salary, everything seems to be going well, but they feel exhausted and they don't like it. These are the two main problems. At first, they don't care because thank God they have money. They might even be saving for a house and are too busy to think about it, but eventually they start wondering, am I going to work somewhere I don't enjoy for the rest of my life? And how do I find a work that I enjoy? And then a brilliant idea strikes them, a super idea, to ask Dr. Torsunov. After all, he knows my nature and everything about me. He'll tell me where I should work, and everything will fall into place. So they raise their hand and ask me. I'm telling you a real story here. One man asked, Dr. Torsunov, where should I work? I responded, work here or work there. I decided to play along a little. The next time I asked, did you change your job? They were persistent, asking me, tell me my purpose. I said, it's too early for you to know. No, tell me. I said, fine, this is your purpose. The next time I asked, did you change jobs? He replied, no. I asked, why not? He said, what if you were wrong? I can't risk losing my job. That's why I say, don't ask. A person can only understand their purpose with their own heart, just like choosing a future spouse. Only your heart can decide, don't ask. The same goes for your faith. What's my faith, Dr. Torsunov? Don't ask. Only your heart knows. What country should I live in? Don't ask. Only your heart can answer that. Should I go there? Oh, it didn't work out. We moved here. It's Dr. Torsunov's fault. He told me to go there. So the person keeps struggling. And no matter where they work, it's all the same. They have a decent salary, but they don't like their job. Why? Because in order to get into their zone of purpose, they must realize that this zone belongs to the sphere of reason, not the sphere of the mind. When a person's abilities function in the mind, and the mind is structured to live in constant need, it always demands, give me money, give me happiness, give me love. The mind always says, give, give, give. That's how it operates. Intelligence, however, is geared towards giving. It's important for a person to transition from the state of give me to the state of giving. As the song goes, I walk home from work, tired, I love you, life. I have known selfless male friendship. I have love, life. You know what that means. This reflects the essence of life, when a person begins to give, to contribute. They understand that life is about giving. And once this realization sets in, they move to the third stage of development. They begin focusing on doing things that genuinely help others. They think, I need to be helpful to people. It doesn't matter how much I'm paid. When I was a student, I had a choice: either spend all my time attending lectures or help people. I chose to help people. Because of this, I was almost expelled from university, but it worked out because I had already learned how to assist others. At that time, I was treating the son of the vice-rector in my university. When the dean submitted papers against me, the vice-rector saw them and refused to sign because I was his son's doctor. This was during my 4th year of study. I just wanted to give, to heal people. I forgot about myself and my own life. People would approach me saying, "Now help me." I would walk into a hospital ward and ask, "Who needs help?" They already knew about me. They'd say, "Oh, it's him, the guy who helps everyone. Help me too." And everyone would smile. I had just started out, but people would say, "You know, I do feel better now." And I'd ask, "Who's next?" I wanted to help. It turns out this is the right path. Back then, I didn't know what was right or wrong. I just followed my heart. Every person must walk this path. It begins with something as simple as helping a friend get a job. This is the right approach. You need to enter this state of mind. Once a person reaches this state, they begin fulfilling their true purpose. There are 4 purposes or types of state of intelligence. These states are cultivated over many lifetimes. Everything about a person is designed for a specific type of activity. It's important to understand that these 4 purposes don't represent 4 specific professions. For instance, a doctor can belong to the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th category based on their state of intelligence. Each would be a different kind of doctor. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not talking about types of professions. I'm talking about how a person approaches their work. This is what we call a person's purpose. So the first category of people has a purpose tied to sharing knowledge. This can include being a consultant, an ideologist in a workplace, a lawyer, a priest, or a doctor. It might even include someone who writes computer programs. The key is not the profession itself, but the outcome. They provide knowledge to others. Through this, they develop themselves, help others grow, and earn their livelihood. For someone to truly excel in this type of work, they must be highly developed, because the primary trait of individuals in this category is caring for others. However, people in this first category also have certain natural shortcomings. They take pride in their knowledge. This is their shortcoming. They are drawn to careerism, titles like Candidate of Sciences, Doctor of Sciences, Academician, and so on. Such a person is proud and ambitious. Pride in their knowledge is their inherent flaw. When a person of the first category becomes too proud of their knowledge, they lose touch with others. They become isolated, unwanted. Even if they hold a high position and earn money, they won't find happiness. A person in the first category must help others gain knowledge and transform lives through it. This is their duty to God. For instance, a first category doctor loves teaching people how to live healthily. In contrast, a fourth category doctor simply enjoys treating people. A third category doctor sells medicine and helps others through that. It's essential to have people selling medicine. A second category doctor might be the hospital's chief physician, but a first category doctor educates people on living a healthy lifestyle. You see, these are different categories of people. A child's nature doesn't change throughout their life, and mixed natures don't exist. For instance, when a first category person is born, how do they appear as a child? They possess a calm, wise gaze. They look at you deeply, serenely. Such children are born sages. These first category children tend to observe rather than actively participate in games. They watch everything happening around them, studying the world. If they do engage in play, they often try to advise others on how things should be done. For example, when I used to play football, I always noticed where the strategy was flawed or something was off. For me, understanding how to play correctly was the most important thing. Everyone in football has their own goal. My focus wasn't on scoring goals, but on analyzing the game structure and strategy. I wanted to understand the proper way to play, like a coach. First category children are naturally ascetic. They aren't particularly drawn to money. Their main interest lies in gaining knowledge. Signs of such a person include a love of studying, often wearing glasses, and a constant thirst for understanding. They have opinions on everything. They love asking questions, listening, and drawing conclusions. These individuals are curious, always reading, exploring, and seeking to understand. They study how life is structured and aim to share that knowledge with others, believing deeply that knowledge can save the world. They believe people can be happy if they acquire the right knowledge. This is a core belief for them. An underdeveloped person of this category can take on any role. They might act as a businessman, a leader, or simply as someone who loves their work. But this means they will act based on their abilities rather than their true nature. When they reach the level of their true nature, they will operate by imparting knowledge to others. For example, if they are in a leadership role, what will they do? They will organize training sessions for management, inspire their subordinates to work better, and explain how to be more efficient. Their activity will align with the first category. Such a person could be a teacher or take on many other professions, as their nature finds a place in various fields. The second category people, when a second category child is born, they are filled with a strong sense of self-esteem. You look into their eyes, and they look back as if to say, "Who are you? Where did you come from? What do you want? What's the matter? Right or wrong? We'll figure it out." Raise your hand if you've seen that kind of look in a child's eyes. That's a second category child. And for those whose child was born as a wise little sage, that's the first category. Usually, children born to second category parents are also second category. For instance, if you are second category, by nature a manager, an administrator, it's likely that your child will be born with the same nature. A serious individual with a strong sense of self-worth. An important person destined to be a leader for others. Such individuals are meant to govern and manage. For example, first category people prefer modest clothing and prioritize truth above all, regardless of their social status. Second category people, however, care deeply about having a high position in society because their focus is society, while first category people focus on individuals, sharing knowledge with them. Second category people believe that a well-organized world will ensure happiness for everyone. They are deeply concerned about proper governance and devote their energy to this cause. This is the second category of people, and they possess natural qualities for it. Such individuals have the power of authority. While the first category has the power of knowledge, the second has the power of governance. By nature, second category people are brave and outspoken. They stand their ground, saying things like, "I disagree with you no matter what." A person of the second category naturally speaks the truth. They'll say, "I still don't agree with you. That's what you think, but I'll always stick to my opinion." This is the power of authority. A second category person always has their own opinion. They dress according to their status. Clothing holds significant importance in their life. They don't take their appearance lightly. They understand that people need to perceive them properly. They are very attentive and observant, always evaluating others. Second category individuals are highly skilled at assessing people in terms of their suitability for different roles. They analyze, who is this person? For instance, when second category people attend a lecture, they evaluate the person who will speak. Is he the person who is going to give a lecture? Okay, let's listen, or let's leave. They have an instinctive understanding of people because they need to hire the right individuals for their work. Misjudging people would lead to failure in their activities. Second category individuals are naturally brave and can stand their ground and fight for what's theirs. Both men and women of this category exhibit courage. It's part of their nature. They are born this way, already possessing these traits as babies. They instinctively respect elders and care for those younger than them. They also form strong friendships with their peers. If they can't form friendships, they lose their influence because their power is sustained through relationships. What are the flaws of second category individuals? Their flaws include pride in their authority, quick temper, and cruelty. A dangerous flaw is abusing their authority, taking more than they're entitled to, which results in losing the respect of others. Authority is sustained only through respect. When a person is respected, they can maintain their position of power. If the respect fades, so does their authority. A second category individual must always live righteously within society and among first category individuals. They must never engage in sinful activities, otherwise they lose their ability to fulfill their role within their category. Second category individuals understand what it means to be a superior or leader. They know how to lead and also understand the necessity of discipline. Many people don't grasp the importance of discipline and don't see why punishment might be necessary. Second category individuals know that discipline and even punishment can benefit someone. It's not always a sin or harm. They naturally understand laws and societal structures as well as the dynamics of relationships. For them, politics isn't something repulsive. It's a means to achieve goals. They know how to communicate effectively and choose the right approach in their interactions. Did you catch the natural traits of second category individuals? If a person doesn't possess these traits but tries to lead, it's not good, because they can't discipline. Someone once approached me and said, "Dr. Torsunov, I can't discipline people, but I'm a manager." I told them, "Stop being a manager." They asked, "Why?" I replied, "Because it's not your nature. You must know how to discipline people. They asked, is there no other way to solve the issue? I said, no. Sometimes people need to be disciplined. The third category, a child is born and looks at their parents with an inviting gaze, as if saying, look into my eyes and let's be friends. When a child of the third category is born, everyone marvels, oh, what a charming little one. They easily make friends with everyone, love everyone, and can find common ground with anyone. The third category represents business people. This means they have a natural talent for communication and building relationships. They can manage things seamlessly, and somehow money starts flowing to them as if by magic. Nobody really knows how it happens. For example, they might trade stamps with others, offering the best stamps and saying, do you like this one? Go ahead, take it. I'd like this one in return. And you think, well, I already took theirs, I should give something back. And somehow they end up with all the best stamps. You didn't even realize there were different stamp categories, but they've already sorted everything neatly and said, look, here's my album. Let's trade it for a bicycle. People of the third category are naturally sociable and skilled at recognizing who's honest and who's not. They form strong friendships and subtly profit from their interactions. For them, this isn't sinful. It's just part of their nature. If first category individuals provide knowledge and second category individuals offer protection, creating jobs and maintaining peace in society, then third category individuals focus on prosperity. Even a police officer can belong to the second category. Depending on their level of development, they may hold different positions within society. For example, someone working in law enforcement, whether as a police officer or soldier, might belong to the second category. If it's their nature to fight, they're part of the second category, even if they're not yet fully developed. With growth, they could become a general or a factory manager. A third category individual desires prosperity for everyone. Their goal is to fill the world with wealth, and this is their duty before God. Because of this, God provides them with money so they can invest it in preschools, schools, aid for the poor and unemployed, education, and society as a whole. Third category individuals are meant to channel their wealth into all social spheres. Second category individuals are responsible for establishing proper governance and management. First category individuals provide the knowledge to guide them. Without knowledge, nothing can be achieved. However, third category individuals have certain flaws: greed, a tendency to deceive, and manipulation. For instance, in classic Soviet films, there's the phrase, selling oranges, 3 in a bunch, which illustrates their cunning nature. These are third category individuals, often portrayed with the classic 3 oranges in a bunch stereotype. Their character is depicted in a negative light, associated with trickery and taking advantage of people. However, they are sociable and able to negotiate with anyone. They often have a cheerful and cunning look, as if to say, so are you buying the oranges? At the same time, they are naturally generous. They can easily give gifts, feed others, and are quite hospitable. Second category individuals are also hospitable, but prefer to do it in a more formal and status-oriented way. They don't invite just anyone into their home. Third category individuals can manage people, but they don't provide permanent jobs. Instead, they create opportunities for earning money. They might temporarily assemble a group for a specific task, after which everyone disperses. There are no formal agreements with them beyond basic payment. Work is usually task-based and temporary. They don't build lasting structures or create stable communities. They focus on short-term earnings and then move on. Third category individuals either work this way themselves or align with those who establish more stable communities and provide long-term employment for their subordinates. Fourth category individuals by nature are very hands-on and enthusiastic. When a child of this category is born, they have a curious look, as if they're trying to figure out what they like, but haven't decided yet. They just need something to do. As soon as they see a set of building blocks, they immediately start assembling them. They enjoy creating things and are happiest when they're actively engaged in work. A third category child needs social interaction. Without someone to talk to, they will cry. A second category child needs to be in charge. They must always have someone to boss around. For instance, if they're with their mother, they'll direct her. If they're with their father, they'll boss him around. It doesn't matter who, as long as they have someone to command. For someone in the first category, the process of learning is essential. Either someone should tell them stories, or they will share stories themselves. My mother used to recite poetry to me, and I memorized it by heart. When she stopped, I would start yelling, and then she would continue. I listened and learned. Once we were waiting at a bus stop with nothing to do. An hour passed and the bus didn't arrive. She put me on an old cart and I started reciting poetry. I was 3.5 years old. That was my first lecture. I began reciting poetry and she was amazed. Wow, he's so lively when reciting. People gathered around, listening to me. My first lecture was free. A fourth category individual is naturally obedient and a skilled craftsman. They like making things. This is the fourth category of people. A skilled doctor belongs to the fourth category. A talented musician belongs to the fourth category. A skilled artist belongs to the fourth category. If someone paints to depict social structures and relationships, they are second category. If they paint wealth and feasts, they belong to the third category. If they paint the depth of characters and relationships, they are first category. If they enjoy painting everything indiscriminately, they belong to the fourth category. They simply love painting for its own sake. Their natural qualities include hard work, obedience, cleanliness, honesty, simplicity, kindness, and openness. Natural flaws of people in the fourth category include disobedience, laziness, and rebelliousness. The flaws of third category individuals are greed and deceit. The flaws of second category individuals are anger, abuse of power, and cruelty. The flaws of first category individuals are pride in their knowledge, vanity, and indifference or coldness toward others. When a person develops further, they become a mentor for all categories, first, second, third, and fourth. They rise above all categories and become a sage. Such a person shares knowledge in their field because they are capable of doing so. A leader nurtures leaders, a scientist nurtures scientists, a business person nurtures other business people. For example, Steve Jobs began giving assignments, delivering lectures, and teaching others how to succeed in business. It's important to understand that even if you act according to your nature and operate within your category, you will still not achieve complete happiness from this alone. Activity aimed solely at self-sustenance is not the essence of human life. While a person's nature may open the door to serving God, living for this higher purpose is the ultimate reason for our existence. For example, if I simply work according to my nature, but don't engage in activities directed toward God, I won't experience profound, complete satisfaction in life. This is because I lack a connection to the deepest part of myself. The deepest part of a person is the divine. We are all divine by nature, and we must understand this. If we don't understand this, then even if everything else in our lives is going well, we will not feel truly happy because we lack an understanding of this depth. Everything must be directed toward human purity and beauty. Genuine relationships between a husband and wife are based on purity. If you serve your husband your entire life and he eventually becomes grateful, it means you have begun to overcome your fate. If you serve him and he remains ungrateful, it means fate continues to influence you. But if you serve him and he becomes grateful, then fate starts to retreat from you. When he becomes grateful, you will see his soul. At that moment, you will see purity in him. You will understand that you want to live with this person. It won't be about whether you derive pleasure from him or not. When he becomes grateful and through his gratitude you see his purity, then you will want to live with him. Gratitude is the energy of the soul. Through it, you perceive purity and depth in him. The first stage of love is acceptance. The second stage is respect. During respect, gratitude emerges, and at the third stage, sincerity develops. At this stage, people are capable of opening their hearts to each other completely. For instance, if you live together, can you fully open your heart to one another? Many cannot. You cannot share your full truth with your partner because you fear they won't understand you or that you might lose them. This is because there is no true closeness. Closeness begins with gratitude. If you enjoy being in bed together and find pleasure and comfort in living together, this is not true closeness. You are simply enjoying each other, and this is not love. It's infatuation. Love begins with gratitude and purity in relationships and in the heart. Developing this feeling requires a lot of effort. Let's return to the topic of relationships. A woman came up to me and said, "Dr. Torsunov, we lived like everyone else. Everything seemed fine. Then one day he just left me. Why did he leave? We have 2 children. What was he missing? Why did he leave?" I told her, because just living together, raising children, and living for your children, just to keep everything in order, this kind of life doesn't awaken conscience. That's why a person can't understand that leaving their wife is wrong. They live for their own pleasure in this life. And if they find greater pleasure somewhere else, more than what they have here with their wife and children, They go for it. When someone falls in love, the pleasure they experience is stronger than everything combined. Wife, children, home, relatives. They fall in love, find more pleasure there, and replace this with that. That's all. They haven't yet developed a sense of conscience. There are 3 stages of life. The first stage is ignorant living, fighting, asserting yourself, drinking, cheating. The second stage is working hard, taking out a mortgage, living for the kids, living like everyone else, and so on. It means there is no conscience. It means we will soon get tired and part ways. That's why people often don't even get married at this stage. They know they will separate anyway, so they don't get married. The third stage of personal development is when a person understands, I can't live like this. I need to live according to my conscience. This means the first thing I will do, I will accept my close person. To accept, I need strength. Where to get strength? In nature. Good. I will practice prolonged movement as I was told. I will practice cold water exposure. I will swim in an ice hole with prayer. Whatever we call it, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it helps tremendously. It gives a person strength through contact with nature. Nature fills them with spiritual strength. And all that's left, the smallest thing, is just to believe. Believe in nature, believe in people, believe in God, and you will be replenished, you'll feel good. You will see this forest, this beauty of the world. You will see the sun. You will see everything around that people usually don't notice. You will see all of this because you will feel what real life is. It is woven only from faith. God gave you this person. You don't know that they are very pure inside, even though they may behave badly on the outside. They don't know themselves from within. This person doesn't know their own purity. And you should discover this purity in them. Now, who among you wants to leave their close person? Raise your hand. What's his name?
Victor.
He is a very sincere person, you know this. How can you leave such a sincere person? When he met you, he wanted you so much. He pursued you. He tried so hard, so sincerely. He made such efforts for you. He showed his best qualities. He really wanted to do so many things for you in life. Isn't that true? So how can you leave him?
I've been with him for 6 years, and you're saying I don't know him.
6 years. You don't know him as a soul. You don't know him. You've forgotten him. When people insult each other, they lose knowledge of each other's purity. You are a very kind and wise person. He is very sincere and pure inside. He can love honestly. He can love sincerely. Right now he's lost, disappointed. He has such a sincere, pure, honest nature inside. He's lost right now. And you are also kind, but have stopped being kind because you've been living incorrectly. You've insulted each other. You don't see each other. You don't see, and that's why you're leaving each other. That's why I'm saying, if you want true love, selflessly do something for your close person. Take a step towards him. You're tired of his sincerity. He insists on his way, demands something from you, has exhausted you. Accept him as he is. Take a step towards him, and he will relax immediately. He will feel better, he'll calm down, and you will be grateful to him. This will be the first drop of love. To live together, you need to be strong. Learn to be strong. A disciple approached a priest and asked, "How can I stay with my wife forever?" He told him, "Do you remember what she was like when you first met?" "I've forgotten." "Now you should remember." "Yes, I remember now. She was like this." He remembered her eyes and everything else. "All your life, think of her only this way. She is not a different person. At the moment you met, you saw her as a soul. Always treat her this way. And this will be the truth. This is who that person really is. When you treat them this way all your life, you will never leave them."
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. As for activities, there's a different challenge here. There are close relationships where you just need to understand and develop this love, and there are relationships of duty. In activities, it's about duty relationships, and it's a special topic for women. Women should know that in activities, for a woman, there is no real depth if she doesn't understand herself as a woman. I'll explain now. This sounds too complicated at first. Listen to me carefully. Let's model a situation where a woman has to work. And whether it's work or something else, a woman is meant to create an atmosphere of love in society and unite people in this atmosphere. So any woman, where should she work? She should educate children. This is a woman's activity, but it's not work. It's simply love. A real teacher loves children. She comes and says, "Hello, my dear ones. Let's learn mathematics together." And children like it because she gives them love. They don't care if it's mathematics or biology, they don't understand yet. The main thing for them is that this lady loves them, that's all. For instance, I often fly by plane. I see real flight attendants. She comes out and says, "We're happy to welcome you aboard. Sir, don't worry. Everything will be fine. Let me adjust your seat for you." And off she goes. The whole plane is in her hands within half an hour. She approaches someone, and they sit there, so obedient to her. The whole plane is in her hands because she's engaged in her natural role. Some are selected for beauty. She might not be beautiful, but she's simply the soul of this plane. Everyone thinks, when will she come to me? A person is the soul of the plane. She loves everyone. This plane will never crash. To crash, there needs to be a reason. When a person acts according to their nature, they possess the power of luck. Good fortune comes to this place. So a woman's work is work that gives love to people, but to give love, one needs to go beyond business relationships. Ladies, are you listening? Go beyond business relationships. But if a woman depends on salary, the boss tells her, "Do overtime work. You have to stay and work." She says, "I need to go home. I can't." "No, you must work." And she works. This means that money is more important to her. She thinks she needs career growth. She thinks she needs to keep this job at all costs. She loses herself. First stage, she gets tired first. Second stage, she can't stay there anymore. Third and fourth stages, she leaves. First she thinks, "I like it here." Then, "I'll endure." Then, "I'm fed up." Then, "I leave." Why does a woman have such chaos? Because she hasn't developed as a woman. To develop as a woman, she needs to understand one simple thing. She should learn close relationships, not business ones. Because close relationships for a woman are more valuable than business ones. A woman leader is like a mother. She approaches and says, "My dear, if you keep coming to work drunk, we'll have to fire you." She talks to him not as a boss, but as a mother. And he immediately becomes what to her? A child. He says, "I won't drink anymore." "We'll see," she says, and leaves. But to become a mother, a woman must first develop herself in close relationships. She says, "I don't have a family." Great. You should create close relationships with parents, with friends, with anyone. If a woman hasn't developed in close relationships, she cannot develop at work because she cannot be herself there. She's mentally constrained. She doesn't know what to do there. She either runs somewhere or starts being capricious, because a woman in principle is not capable of living in an environment where there's an attitude of commanding. She is very vulnerable, sensitive. She cannot exist in such relationships. She needs close relationships. But if she has developed as a woman, a boss will never talk to her in such a business-like manner. The boss will say, "Dear Mary, please do this." She will say, "Of course," because she is woven from love. You can't talk to her rudely, and if you do, she'll simply leave. Or let's say the workday is over and she's leaving. He says, "You need to stay longer." She says, "I can't, I have a family." He says, "Well, we'll fire you." She says, "Go ahead." And she knows he won't fire her. Because every day she gives him her feminine warmth, and that is very valuable. If a woman is worn out and stressed, she will eventually leave on her own, because she'll get tired of living like this. Then she'll have a breakdown and leave, and this happens with most women. A woman cannot immediately achieve her nature. First, she must become attached to God to have the strength to live and get married. Then she must either get married or become very strong in relationships with friends, with parents, and gain strength there, become strong, resilient to life, and only then she develops in activities. But how does she act? She acts as a woman. A woman leader is first and foremost a woman. A businesswoman is first and foremost a woman. Would you like to buy a fur coat? I don't want to, but I'm very happy to see you. That means she is always strong in her essence everywhere in life. But if she gets caught up and becomes a puppet of these business relationships, then she has lost herself. And the second stage of such life for her is fatigue. She gets tired of her work. She can't stay there for long. It's hard and unpleasant there because she doesn't develop as a person. A woman through whom the energy of love doesn't flow every second is just a walking corpse. The energy of love must flow through her every second. She must live in it and feel very strong and good, whether you're a manager, a business person, or whatever. First you're a woman, and then everything else. If you don't like your work, it means you haven't developed as a woman, because if a woman has developed as a woman, she can't dislike her work. She either works there or leaves, because she knows she will always find work. A woman who has developed as a woman is always needed by everyone, because everyone needs her feminine energy. She comes to get a job somewhere, smiling, radiating warmth, and they tell her, "Yes, we'll hire you," because everyone needs warmth, everyone needs love. But if she's worn out, exhausted, saying, "Hire me, I have 3 degrees," We don't need your degrees, we lack a female presence. Let's say people ask where to find a sales specialist to attract customers. Just find a woman. No need to look for a sales specialist. Put a woman behind the counter. And a woman needs to develop herself and become strong. Then you can easily realize yourself at work. But if you're afraid of losing your job, if you're exhausted, worn out, if management keeps pushing you around, it means you're weak. You don't have feminine strength, so stop investing in work. Invest in relationships. Learn to help your loved ones, help people, care for everyone, become strong in relationships, become strong as a person. A woman's personality is woven from strength that gives her the ability to give love to everyone. She is strong in this. And everyone around relaxes immediately. They can't pressure her. You can't pressure a woman because she is woven from love. Love relaxes everyone, not that she's flirting with everyone. She is dignified. She can be like a mother or like a daughter. She doesn't behave like a mistress at work. Some women think they'll put on makeup, flirt with the boss, and thinks he will love me and pay good money. This is nonsense. He will use you because when a woman flirts with anyone except her husband, she's seen as a prostitute. Everyone else will use her, just use her, and that's all. So a woman should set herself up correctly. She should behave herself like a dignified person. She is beautiful, she is kind, but in close relationships she depends only on her husband while giving love to everyone else, like a mother, like a daughter, and so on. There are 3 stages of a woman's development. The first stage is a dreamer. It means that the woman hasn't seen life at all. She's a mama's girl, and she can be a mama's girl even at 45. She thinks that if people help, her things will be good. If not, she'll continue suffering. God will help. She's lazy, doesn't want to work on herself, doesn't want to get up early, constantly sick, always unhappy, exhausted, blames her husband for everything. Why? Because you're sick. And you're sick because you're lazy. A woman is lazy by nature. All women are lazy. A woman should know how to pull herself out of this state. She pulls herself out with the help of other women, with the help of lectures. A woman is naturally very inspired by knowledge. Women listen very attentively. Men can never listen like that. When a woman is filled with knowledge, she immediately starts doing everything correctly, then quickly burns out. This means that you need to communicate at this moment. When you feel you can't do it anymore, it means you need to recharge yourself. Start communicating with other women. They will inspire you because a woman's conscience lies very close to her heart. What, you're not going to morning exercises? Conscience kicks in, and the next day she does exercises. And you don't want to talk about this topic with friends. You're too lazy to talk. Here, all friends are sitting around. You say, there are no good people. Well, in this city, all good people have gathered here. Meet each other after the lecture, get acquainted. There is the Good People Club, you can come there. They discuss my lectures, do good deeds, feed children, conduct various activities. They introduce people to each other, arrange marriages, and so on. We have the festival. This is an amazing festival because it's designed specifically for you to get involved. 2 weeks. We've calculated that it's impossible to engage a person in less than 2 weeks. Everyone tells us, in 2 weeks, you'll fail. No one will come for 2 weeks. We have thousands of people coming. It's a very powerful festival. People from our festival write their own songs. That means they specifically study my lectures and write amazing songs that simply open hearts. We have a very powerful theater group. They haven't visited you yet. They also create performances based on my lectures. They're amazing. People cry, men and women open up. Children open up to their parents. Who is a child? How does their heart work? Everything is revealed in theatrical play. Come to the festival and you'll see. You'll spend 2 weeks in the atmosphere of these enthusiastic people who are there all day, from morning till evening. Children have their own team of teachers working with them, and so on. How to come? We have a website. Visit it. All the information is there. That means women should seek relationships, communication. A woman develops through communication. First, become socially active women. Develop through relationships. Learn to maintain friendly relationships, ladies. Even to get married, a woman should have many women around her. Do you know how women got married in ancient culture? Even in very old Soviet movies, you can see it there. For example, the movie Magic Shoes. Women gather in a big group. This is described in the scriptures. Everyone dresses beautifully, and they walk everywhere around the village. They walk in large groups. They lead happy, joyful round dances. They love each other, rejoice, and laugh. And men's hearts are simply breaking from this. They can't watch it. They can't lead round dances. They're all alone. Women charm them with their energy of love. It multiplies many times over, and hits the man on the head, and he falls in love with one of them. They all do it together, and one of them gets married, then the next one. And at our festival, people are constantly meeting because women there become women, and they are allowed to smile and greet each other. These are the conditions of the festival. People arrive, women smile at everyone, and their names are written on the beiges, so it's not difficult to get acquainted. Communicate, create relationships, look for friends. A person must develop. Understand that there are 3 energy layers of life, and if people are not in your layer, you won't be able to discuss all this with them. There aren't many people like you. Look for each other. Here you have met. This is very valuable for you. What questions do you have for me on this topic? Today we talked about personal development, talked about preserving the family, and that we need to raise the family to a certain level of development. There is a passionate family, and there is a family in pure goodness. In a family which is in pure goodness, people strive for God. There is conscience there, and therefore this family is preserved because people understand that they live together for God. This needs to be understood. This is very difficult to understand.
Hello. Thank you very much for the opportunity to ask you a question. It was brewing in my mind since your lecture appeared on YouTube, but finally it took shape yesterday. The main primary goal of a person is love, which a woman begins to comprehend through people and a man through his actions towards her. For us, ordinary people, the beginning of relationships is usually falling in love. But yesterday I realized that falling in love can sometimes have destructive consequences. What should be the foundation from which all this should start?
The foundation is to reach the perception of people who strive for God and truth. If you start to sympathize with these people, then you fall in love with the right person. If a person is going in the right direction, then this is the basic thing, because what's most important is not falling in love, but where the person is moving in their life.
So you must feel this with your heart? How to see and understand this person?
For this, you need to develop. When a person develops, they begin to see people similar to themselves. You need to develop for this, you understand? And only after that, strive for marriage. If a woman hasn't developed, she finds someone like herself. Every person falls in love only with someone of their own level. They cannot see higher, because the very ability to love is based on understanding who the person I love is. And since a person doesn't see this, they don't understand. A woman doesn't understand men who live purposefully, doesn't see them, doesn't sympathize with them, and therefore doesn't love them. Every woman has a hot nature, while a man has a cold one. A woman makes others fall in love with her through her energy, and she directs her actions. She's like a guided missile. She only aims towards what she understands. If a woman develops as a person, she attracts developed men. And if she doesn't develop, she attracts undeveloped men. In a man, the main thing is that he's moving in the right direction. Women often don't understand this. For instance, if a man has already arrived in the right direction, you won't meet such a man because there are 10 women for every such man. Such a man becomes so attractive that he draws many women. And counting on such a person is madness. You might not get one your whole life. Your only option is a man who has taken the right direction but isn't yet developed. It's like gold in mud, you understand? You need to pull it out and wash it. He's not yet developed, but he's going in the right direction. Look for and observe what a person is interested in. Let's say someone is attracted to you. Look at what interests him. If he's interested in the wrong things, don't get involved with him. You see, direction is important, and this later becomes the foundation of life together. Where a man is directed, that's where he stays, because it's very difficult for a man to change his direction. He forms direction with great difficulty, and once he has formed it, it's hard to change. And a woman cannot be directed anywhere. She is either purer or dirtier. The purer she is, the better she sees direction. A woman doesn't go anywhere by herself. She follows someone because she lacks inner willpower. She always needs a source of inspiration. But a woman moves forward through her purity. Purity is her inner foundation.
What constitutes purity?
Purity is in faithfulness, in conscientiousness, in correctly following the rules of life, not cheating, not lying, and so on. Purity means even external neatness. This is also purity, and so on. Purity is seeing the soul. That means the ability to see the soul in another person in this world. And when a woman is pure, this is what makes her a reasonable woman, a strong woman who can overcome her fate. This means pure. This is female intelligence, female strength. Well, our time is coming to an end. Everyone after the lecture should come down because it's very difficult for me to throw oranges. I can throw them, but it's hard. Come down. Today there will be an orange rain. Everyone should look at me. Otherwise you'll get hit in the head and won't have time to dodge. Now everyone sit up straight. Look, I will now demonstrate 3 types of voice. The first type of voice is the sound of emotions. It doesn't overcome one's fate. The second type of voice is the sound of mind. It doesn't overcome fate. And the third sound of intelligence, it overcomes fate. The sound of intelligence is also the sound of memory or the sound of a strong recollection of something. This is the sound of intelligence. Look, the first sound, I wish happiness to everyone. I wish happiness to everyone. You see what I'm doing? I'm enjoying wishing happiness to everyone. There will be no overcoming fate. This is the sound of human emotions. The second sound is the sound of mind. This is deeper. I wish happiness to everyone when I'm in a good mood. And when I'm in a bad mood, I wish happiness to everyone. That means that the sound of mind is the sound of a person's mood. Whatever the mood is, such is the sound. To pronounce the sound of intelligence, I must remember something. Let's say I remember my mentor and repeat, focusing on that memory. I wish happiness to everyone. You see, this is a different sound, right? This is the sound of memory. This sound of memory overcomes fate because memory at this time is distracted from fate and remembers about holiness. The sound of memory can be even stronger if I repeat my prayer together with someone. Joint prayer always sounds stronger because at this time I rely not just on memory, but also on someone else's sound. My memory gets activated multiple times. Look. I wish happiness to everyone. I wish happiness to everyone. You see, I immersed myself in the memory of how they sing and strength appeared in my sound. You should now do the same thing. Give her the microphone, please, here. You should listen to them and repeat, thinking about them. Put the microphone closer so we can hear you. Listen carefully to how they repeat.
I wish happiness to everyone.
No, listen exactly how they do it. Forget about yourself and your repetition. Don't think about how you should say it. Just do it like they do.
I wish happiness to everyone. I wish happiness to everyone. I wish happiness to everyone. I wish happiness to everyone.
Did you hear the sound of intelligence? She started to tune in. You see, she has got the same sound inside, such a sound in memory, the sound of memory. It gradually establishes itself in the heart, becomes very strong, and sadness leaves the heart. Because a person's memory connects them with the source of happiness, and this energy of happiness fills the heart. Prayer is the source of happiness, and in the first stage, a person feels good right here. And tomorrow we'll talk further about what will happen. And everyone does exactly the same as this woman. Someone takes the microphone from her. Everyone sit up straight. I wish happiness to everyone. I wish happiness to everyone. I wish happiness to everyone. Thank you very much. I wish you all happiness, spiritual knowledge, love, health, and all the brightest things in your fate. I am very grateful to you for your patient attitude towards me, for listening to me for so long. Thank you for your kind eyes. All the best. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much, and see you soon.